It should be brief. It's just updates on principalship.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. For those of you at home this evening, if you would like to respond to any of us here in the Fulton City School District, you can respond to us at an email, clerk@fulton.cnyric.org. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can someone move that?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Passes, what do we have, 5-0-0. In the event of emergency this evening and we need to evacuate the building, we can go out door 6, which is over here to the right. We can also go out the library doors and go to either the right or the left. Please move away from the building as far as possible. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is nobody signed up for public forum this evening, so we're going to move to action 1.06 to approve the May 14th regular meeting minutes.
Move it. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 5-0-0. For this evening's president report, just take a look at a couple of meetings coming up for the month of June. We have 2 regular board meetings, a policy committee meeting, graduation, which I can't believe is right around the corner, on June 14th. And that's where we're standing right now. And I'd also like to congratulate Lori Prawl, who is sitting in our audience this evening. Congratulations on your nomination last night. Jen Mainville also, who will be joining us. And Jess, we are going to miss you very much, so come to join us at any time. With that, if there are no questions, I'm going to pass it over to the superintendent's report, Mr. Palvino.
Okay, thank you. Well, this evening, budget and propositions, I'd just like to extend my appreciation on behalf of all of our students and staff and the families of the Fulton City School District on passing our budget last evening, as well as my congratulations to both Ms. Mainville and to Ms. Prawl. So, welcome aboard. Thank you. Also, I extend my congratulations to the library budget, which passed, and the library trustee, Kathy Peterson. So it was a good evening, for Fulton last evening. So not a lot of change. Looking forward to how this budget will be maximized to meet the needs of all of our kids as we continue to face the challenges that they present. So that's all I need to say this evening for that. For our budget propositions, we did put out some signage today on our signs, as well as Facebook, thanking our community for their support. Our second item this evening is the Carlton Barrett Proclamation and 80th anniversary of D-Day. If you recall, last year at our board meeting, we had Mr. Cahill, who was a teacher at Volney, really worked tirelessly and advocated for this and did a lot of work, and it resulted in a proclamation that we read each year at the second meeting of the month in May in preparation for June 6th, which is Carlton Barrett Day here in our district, and I believe they do the same thing in the city of Fulton. So this evening, one of the expectations is we read the proclamation each year, because we had the resolution last year. So I'm going to read that this evening. Whereas native Fultonian Carlton W. Barrett, while serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, distinguished himself during one of the most important military battles of the 20th century, and whereas, upon landing on Omaha Beach in the vicinity of St. Laurent-sur-Mer, France, on June 6, 1944, during Operation Overlord, Private Barrett saved many lives assisting drowning men to shore and evacuating wounded men to an evacuation boat in neck-deep water. And whereas Carlton Barrett returned to the surf with wounded men time and time again, ran messages up and down Omaha Beach, stopping only to give medical treatment and calm the shock, disregarding his personal safety, and while sustaining 3 gunshot wounds to the hips and thigh, only to be taken out of the battle after a 4th injury, a mortar wound to his foot. And whereas out of 73,000 American troops to land on Normandy beaches on June 6, 1944, Private Barrett was one of 4 individuals awarded the Medal of Honor for acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty, being the only one to survive to have the medal placed around his neck. And whereas Private Barrett, later to become Sergeant Barrett, would never speak of his actions that day, he humbly would only speak of the sacrifice of others, especially those who paid the ultimate sacrifice never to return home. And whereas Carlton Barrett, after recovering from his injuries, went on to serve his country for another 18 years in the U.S. Army after D-Day, continued to serve something bigger than himself, serving his country for a total of 23 years. And whereas in the year 2024, the Fulton City School District concluded, or 23, the Fulton City School District, Fulton, New York, concluded that recognizing Carlton Barrett for his actions on D-Day is an opportunity to educate the public on World War II, Operation Overlord, valor, selflessness, sacrifice, humility, the price of freedom, and those that paid the price with their lives. And now therefore, in consideration of the aforementioned facts and events, the Fulton City School District did hereby complain every June 6th or the following Monday, if on a weekend, to be forever recognized as Carlton W. Barrett Day, recognized and celebrated through events deemed appropriate by the Superintendent of Schools and the Board of Education. So that day is coming up in the very near future, in just a couple of weeks. On June 6th at Volney Elementary School, in your packet of information, we're having a special honor the 80th anniversary of D-Day celebration at Volney Elementary School at 6 p.m. And you're all welcome to attend that event. Classrooms and schools will be doing things in honor of Mr. Barrett, or Carlton Barrett Day as well. So truly a special day where we recognize former student in the Fulton City School District for his heroism and service to our country. So, and also I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge all of our veterans and those who serve in our armed services to keep us safe and protected and allow us the peace that we have in our country today and the opportunities that we have. Wouldn't have them without them. So thank you.
I just read something on Facebook. People keep thanking a specific service member for his service, and he said his response is, "Thank you for being the type of person worth sacrificing for." I thought that was
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. So I hope if you have the opportunity, please, if you can, slip over to Volney that evening. I think it'll be a special day and special evening. Our next item this evening is the Seal of City Readiness. Of course, I didn't print my. Would you like to speak to that,
Sure.
please? Thank you.
We just wanted to take the opportunity to publicly thank the many community partners who made our North Bay Campground Seal of Civic Readiness Capstone project possible. And Mrs. Hendrickson is here also, and please chime in if I leave anybody out. But the Richard Shinneman Foundation provided a grant of $3,000 to support this work. Fulton Block Builders also provided grant money for materials and safety t-shirts and a pizza party for our students. Walmart made a donation. B&T Sports offered discounted pricing so that we could purchase those safety t-shirts that we needed for our students and staff members. The athletic department of our own district providing water jugs to help keep our students and staff hydrated that day. The Atlantic States Legal Foundation donated trees for planting and spent some time educating our students about the surrounding forestry and how to care for it. Jim Fafalia has been collaborating with the Fulton Junior High on a number of projects, and he really did a wonderful job of being the bridge between our school district and the community, including the Noon Rotary and the Fulton Garden Club, and helped prepare our students for this project. Chris Waldron and the Department of Parks and Recreation supported this effort, worked with our students, provided rake shovels, and prepped the area prior to our students' arrival. Jim Rice, the mayor, visited the work areas and commended our students for their contribution. Carolyn Mosier and Tim Carroll, who are Fultonians who dedicated their time and provided activities and guidance to our students in creating a mural at the North Bay Campground. And lots of our junior high teachers, our district instructional coaches, Mr. Kaprosky, Ms. Platt, Mrs. Hendrickson, and Ms. Hoffman, who all supported the planning of this project and rolled up their sleeves
and worked side by side with our students that day. And I hope you will check it out because the impact is incredible. If you're native Fultonian, you know that that campground has been part of our community for a long time, but I encourage you to go see and look at that fabulous resource that is there and the pride that our students took in helping to improve that for all members of our community.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question? That is
Sure.
great to hear that our students and our staff were so involved in that project because it really is a beautiful piece of land that we have here. At our last meeting, we talked about the civic seal of readiness, and we had 90% of our kids. Did we get to that percent that you were hoping for with our students that jumped in and got their hands dirty
So
this weekend?
I do not have the updated count. Mrs. Hendrickson, do you know if we've got to 100%?
I think we are very close to that, and our students with our project here as an alternative. We can make it something like 30 projects.
That's
So we're
great.
at 100%.
There were over 400 hours of recorded community service just in this project alone.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
amazing.
helping them earn points toward that seal of civic readiness, either as a graduation pathway or as a diploma endorsement upon their graduation from high school. Very exciting work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I've heard a lot of positive feedback when I've just been out and about. A lot of people have been commenting about the real positive press from that day and how our kids did. Truly what education is all about, a great experience for them. Our boys hockey, Mr. Ellis, if you could provide an update. We've been a combined team for over 10 years, but we combined differently last year, and we wanted to provide an update. There'll be a resolution in a future meeting, but we wanted to give some base information today and give feedback. So, Mr. Ellis.
Well, thank you for letting me come in tonight. Notice I'm talking about the coldest sport on the hottest day of the year. So Mr. Polvino and I just started sitting down and just putting as much information as possible on here. Some of it may be relevant, some of it may not. So I'm just going to kind of just do a general overview. If you look at the schools that we combined with last year, so it was Fulton, Phoenix, Hannibal, Square, Cato, Liverpool, and Jordan Elbridge. Those are the schools that we combined with last year. Liverpool was a new addition to us. As you can see, I went down through each one of the schools and was able to put the numbers that signed up and then tried out. So those numbers can be very, very difficult to determine, especially when we're looking at something in May, because we're a whole 6, almost 7 months away from them actually making a committed decision there. We even had students never even signed up for hockey until the day before the season started. So it's very difficult to say that these are concrete numbers, that this is what's going to happen in November. The reason we're here today is because if we decide the school boards have to approve any combinations, and if we decide that we are not going to combine with some of these schools, in all fairness, to be able to tell them now so they can research other schools to try to combine with. If we go down through the numbers, something that I did is I worked with our Fulton Youth Hockey. They were able to give me the names of student athletes in the Fulton City School District that are playing hockey, either with Fulton Hockey or with some of the club programs. I tried to call every single one of those parents or students down to my office and just give them a general overview of what we're looking for. And it kind of shook out pretty quick. There was, several students have no intention of playing Fulton hockey, and it has nothing to do with Fulton. It has to do with their club program. They like their club program, and they will stay with it. We had other students that said, yeah, we definitely want to play hockey this year. I told them there's a possibility we may not merge with some of those schools, and they said we would not be interested in playing that hockey for a program that would be competitive. Right at the top of the page, I put our competition rate over the last 5 years, 4 years. So some of our student athletes in Fulton decided that if we're not going to merge with some of these, it would not make us very competitive, and they would find a club program to be part of instead of the full program. One thing that is standing out there is that we have a large number of 9th graders that have played hockey. It is difficult for me to look at a 9th grader because we don't have modified, we don't have JV for hockey, we just have the varsity program, so you would have 14-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds. And it's a high contact sport. So there's also the whole sense of injury that comes into play in my mind. So what we came up with here in Fulton was 11 of them said yes, they're going to try out. 4 of them said no, they're not going to try out no matter what we do. And then we had about 10 is kind of to be determined. Some of those were 9th graders. Some of those were parents who even said, my son probably wants to try out, but he's really, really small. He's an 8th grader. He's small right now, and she's afraid of injury. She's afraid of him being able to compete. So some of them, again, like I said, some of them were really going to choose, travels, conflicts with the travel team. And then 3, I wasn't really able to get a good answer or a good response back from the families. So we have 11 really confirmed from Fulton, with 10 kind of to be determined at a later time. But again, a lot of those are 9th graders. Phoenix is projected to bring back 6. Cato's projected to bring back just 1. Central Square, they've had some kids graduate, some kids are going to prep school. They are only projected to bring back 2, which that used to be one of our larger schools. Liverpool projected to bring back 8 to 10 students, with 3 of them being goalies. So that's really important to understand. Like, you can't have a baseball team with 10 catchers, right? Because you need, some other positions being used. So goalie being such a specific position, it's difficult to say that all of those goalies will make the team. Jordan Elbridge didn't have any students make the team last year. At this point, they are not projected to send anybody. And then Hannibal is projected to bring back 2 students. Like I said, I surveyed parents, student athletes, discussion with Fulton Youth Hockey, also talked to the athletic directors that are out there about these schools. My recommendation at this time would be to combine again with the same numbers. I talked to the Fulton Youth Board. They really appreciate all of the homework that I did. He called it a win-win situation, meaning that it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other, where some people may be really, really happy with this, and some people may not be very happy with this. So we're kind of really in that middle there.
Quick question on that.
Yes.
So you said we had some people say if they didn't feel we could be competitive, they weren't going to play.
That is correct.
Did we have the opposite that felt like, if we're going to combine and I'm probably not going to be competitive, or it's not going to be enjoyable for me, I'm not even going to bother trying, or that didn't come up?
So that one's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to tell because did they sign up or did they not sign up, right? Because, we had 2 kids that, signed up but never showed up. So was that a case because we combined with Liverpool and they knew, or combined with all these schools and they knew they probably wouldn't stand a chance? We're not really sure about that. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. So I don't have a clear answer on that question. We do have some student athletes that did try out, were provided with an opportunity to be on the team, did not get a lot of playing time or any at all, and decided not to continue with our program. So there were some in that situation. Some of them were underclassmen where, if we had a JV program, they would have been on the JV team. We don't have a JV program. You just can't. There's not enough ice time in order to do a JV.
Does any school district have JV?
No, there isn't. There is no JV program in Section 3.
So essentially, all schools that participate are playing with 8th through 12th graders, correct? Essentially.
8.
They could be an 8th grader, 7th grader,
They could be.
possibly.
You know about the test, so they've never passed that test.
I am not for a combined team. I've voiced that multiple times. I think that we're discouraging our kids from trying out. I think we're just really, really ruining the program, the kids coming up, because we can't compete with a Liverpool program who have twice the amount of students that we have. And I'm not saying your numbers are incorrect or anything, but I find it very hard to believe that there's
6 to 10 kids from Liverpool. I feel like that number is possibly quite higher, and I struggle with this because I spoke with 7 parents from Bolton whose kids did not play because there were issues. So I'm just want to voice my opinion that I really strongly advise against this. I think I think we're doing our kids a disservice.
So just
By
about,
combining with Liverpool. We did not have issues before we combined with Liverpool. We may not have had a winning record, I understand that. I get that 100%. But I also know that our kids were playing. That's just my thoughts on it. You know, we've had this
Yes,
is no
we have.
secret. I'm not.
How many athletes are typically on a varsity hockey team?
typically about 18 to 25.
18 to 25.
So with these numbers here, we would be up around the 30 mark.
So there's quite a few cuts that would be made.
Well, if the numbers are, like, we kept 30 this year.
Okay.
But again, some of those were gonna be practice players because they were underclassmen.
Practice.
And they didn't like their position being a practice player. They wanted that opportunity to play the game. And decided not to.
So we have a lot of incoming freshmen. How many, just from Fulton projection, do we have that are not ninth graders, would you say?
There's about approximately 10.
10 that are not ninth graders?
Not ninth graders.
And how many would be ninth graders?
Approximately 10.
So there's 20 together.
But like I said,
Possibly.
possibly. But like I said, I already
But they're-
know one of those students on the list is, they're doing well no matter what.
Right, so if you look at the bottom of the second
Yeah.
page, it talks about 2 are ninth graders, they're not gonna play
Right.
if they're not combined. 2 are ninth
No,
graders
yes,
with
I
club
do
team priority.
understand that. I was just
So-
saying if we weren't combined with Liverpool,
Right.
just trying to get a feel for the numbers on the team.
Right.
Knowing that for a lot of our varsity sports, you don't, I mean, you have some that excel, but you don't typically have a lot of ninth graders playing at the varsity level.
That's right.
Typically.
Not varsity.
Okay.
I guess that on that note, does safety play anything in a role in this? Like, when we-
And that's one of the,
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons we combined with in the first place, is because we are starting to look at, and we're going back, I believe it was about 11 years ago when we first combined, and we were starting to do the APP test in order to move 8th graders up into our.
What's the APP test, just for the group?
Yeah, APP test is a physical fitness test designed by New York State for any 8th grader looking to play a JV or varsity sport. You have to pass this physical fitness test in order to even play. To even try out, not even play, even to try out. I just wanted to go back. You mentioned Liverpool being twice our size and they should have bigger numbers. They don't have a feeder program like Fulton or Oswego, or they don't have a feeder program to go into.
No, I'm just saying their district
Yes.
is twice our size. So, I mean, it's, you know, I understand some of the smaller districts such as ourselves may need to combine, but combining with a district that is so large, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So-
It truly doesn't.
So are you saying that Liverpool does not have like a Pee Wee hockey type
Correct.
program?
Because
Yeah.
they all play for club teams, so they're all good players, so they're gonna knock our players out and they're gonna play, is my point. We are, okay.
So I'm
No, that's why we're
listening
having a
to- that's fine.
conversation.
I know,
That's why we're having a
My
meeting.
children
Yeah.
play hockey, so this is like, I'm.
Yeah,
just
I don't
trying
have
to
any
feel
skins in
for-
the game, but I
Yeah.
do have a child who
no
plays
minimum.
competitive sports.
Um,
And I know the difference between having, you know, a high school team with kids who play recreationally versus a high school team who all their kids play club. And so that is what I'm saying. I feel that this is very damaging to our Fulton program.
When do we need to make this decision by, Mr. Ellis?
Has the decision already been made?
No.
Okay.
No, you have to make the decision, so.
Well, you have to approve
Yeah.
the decision.
So every year, you may recall or not, but every year, whenever we do a combination, we bring in a resolution for you.
It's required in this one.
So that is, we usually do it, I want to say probably around September time. I want to do it before summer because that'll give them an opportunity to go out and
So
find it.
normally we do it by September, but you want to give them an extra.
Yes. And that's why I'm bringing it up now.
Yeah, so like fall.
So,
I guess a question, I don't know if you asked the kids, because you did ask them whether they were gonna play or not. Did you ask them which of the two they would prefer?
So a lot of times I did tell them, we are looking at possibly not bringing Liverpool back. Would that make a difference in it or not? And some of them, most of them said yes. We had one student said, yes, I'm gonna play hockey, I'm gonna try out again, I love hockey. Liverpool makes us better. He goes, but I probably won't make the team if Liverpool's here. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Jess said, and like, she also said she's talking to people from the community, so I think she has a deeper background than a lot of us as far as this goes from the board, but I think that safety concern, I think if from your end you feel you can provide a safe and successful experience, not necessarily a winning program off the bat, without Liverpool, but a successful program, I would think, Fulton, trying to do its own thing, if we have the people and capacity to do so, would be worthwhile.
I agree with that statement.
are you saying that if we don't merge with Liverpool, we still would have our Phoenix, Cato, Meridian, Central Square, Handle, or would are these students possibly thinking of staying with the Liverpool program? How does that work?
When we first started discussing this, when I first started saying like, hey, like our community is not real happy with this merger, mainly because, we finished the season with 3, right? And I'm not here to say we had an awesome season. I'm not here to say like this was the best thing we've ever done. There's a lot of room for improvement, and I think with the kids graduating and going to prep school, and with our 9th graders coming in, I think it gives us some wiggle room to be able to put together a competitive program. But with that being said, what's your question?
I was just asking if, besides Liverpool, if the others.
Yeah.
Is everybody staying?
So when we first started talking about this, there was 2 other school districts that were all in with Liverpool, but knowing that with their numbers and Liverpool numbers, they weren't going to have enough for a team, and they've come back to us and said, if you
So
still
those
like
2
us,
districts would like to play with us?
yes, they would like to play for us because their numbers dropped so much because of, like I said, the prep school and
Yeah.
So all of our original teams.
all of our originals.
So we would be able to field enough for a team if that's the route because we want our kids to play.
If all of these kids that we have are making a commitment, and there's a piece in here, and again, I see both sides, Jess. Chris will tell you, we haven't just spent hours, we've spent hours upon this and gone back and forth and really tried to weigh this out and trying to create something that, is best in the best interest of our kids, but all of the kids from a safety standpoint. And when you look at our 10 and you start to whittle back, well, 2 are only going to play if we combine, and 2 are going to prioritize their club team. So if there's a game on the same night or they're going to go there. So you start to peel those numbers back. And that's kind of why we originally looked at Liverpool in the first place last year, because our numbers were starting to drop into the teens. And then when they start dropping into the teens, that's where you start to have some issues. A couple of the districts have gotten smaller, like JE, Jordan Elbridge, has no players for next year as of the moment. So, and Cato's at what, 1, right?
1.
So we're starting to see even their numbers are starting to drop a little bit. Central Square, just a few weeks ago, was adamant. We have 6. I have a text right in my phone here that we're dropped to 2 now. And so, because they had prep schools and things like that. So this is the problem where we're doing it so early, but we don't know. This is what happened last year. We had pretty solid numbers, and then when we got close, we had more kids show up and sign up because I think they saw, wow, we have a chance there's something good that might happen. But then it resulted in, so that's what we've been grappling with as well. So all of the things that Jess has said and everybody else tonight are things that we've been grappling with as well. And based on what we saw, that was where Chris had said, I think this is the best step at this moment in time. And again, Liverpool's also watching and saying, are they going to take it? Because they're now a group without a team. Because they don't have enough to field a team either. I'm proud of the fact, and Chris should be proud of the fact, that all of these other schools have made a commitment to us. That says that that's a testament to us, to this school district, to be able, so the sticking, because of the consistency over the years. So that's, that's a piece, I think from an expenditure piece that Chris didn't, right, but there is an expenditure, it is a per pupil, so that's what each of the districts will be charged per pupil or per athlete that they had. So that's a give back where it used to be our total cost here in Fulton, correct me if I'm wrong. We used to carry it because we were the primary, we had the most players. In this last year's model, we actually distributed the costs, which is the first time we've done that. So from a cost savings, that's a good thing. But again, it's not about the money necessarily. We have to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
We have to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
So being fiscally responsible, we looked at that as well. So I told Chris I wouldn't talk too much tonight. So I'm gonna stop.
There was a question, what is the minimum number for hockey? I mean, really, to go out there and have a team, to have a safe team, you're looking at a number between 15, 18 for minimal. That would be the low number. Anything under that is, you really need to have 2 to 3 different lines, if you understand that. So you really need to have 3 lines.
Now, as far as assessing the 8th graders and 9th graders, they pass, let's say they pass the APPR, then when they, with tryouts, do you evaluate whether or not
Yes.
they're big enough to compete with, okay.
Yeah, we would check their size. I mean, because you could have all the skills you want, but if you're getting pushed off the puck or if you're getting slammed into the rails, like that's, or the boards, like that's going to be an issue. So, yeah, they would definitely take that.
But you're also saying that we have quite a few freshmen that are coming in that want to play.
Yeah.
So maybe we're not having a strong team right now, but this team is going to grow if we have the numbers you're saying.
If we have a team and they all.
Right. Well, and again, this is not a one-time decision. I mean, we could reevaluate. I mean, we could do another year of Liverpool and reevaluate as where are our numbers at. So we could definitely do that. I just wouldn't want to belabor this every single year. We need to.
Well, I think that's why we have such a strong commitment from those other districts, is that we have gone through times where we had smaller teams. When I first got, we had teams of 25 across the ice. So we've had this wide-ranging kind of piece here. So.
Do they all get play time?
Not in varsity.
But no, none of our varsity sports.
What's that?
None of our varsity sports get play time. Not everybody gets play time.
Yeah, no, I'm just, and whose discretion is that?
Coach.
Okay. Because I'm just concerned, as Jess is, we get these other players, and then it's nice to have a team, but if you can't play, once you're on the team, why have a team?
So what we wanted to do is get it out in front of you. Here's what we've got and all the information. I need to give kudos to Chris. He spent a lot of time, to the point where he agitated some of the other ADs, I'm sure. And I will tell you, the supers have commented that we've spent a lot of time. A number of my peers have said something in a very positive way, that they appreciate the time that we're trying to put into this to get it right for Fulton, but more important for all the student athletes we're talking about, that it has to be a high quality experience for all of them.
I agree. I've spent a lot of time talking with Chris about this as well, and I appreciate the time, for sure.
So what I would say is, if you have questions, mull it, let it settle a little bit, chew it, all those things that you do. Reach out to Chris or I with questions, and then we'll make the determination. I'd like to bring a resolution to the next meeting, because I think we need to make sure that we have a decision soon for those districts. But again, that's why, if it's not ready for the next meeting, that's fine, but we just need questions. Right, the sooner the better, just because if there's a district that doesn't have a home, because I've heard there's some other districts that are looking at their hockey programs, things like that, in the Onondaga County as well, that are starting to suffer from some number issues and things like that. All the programs are looking at themselves right now and starting to work through that.
With districts combining, who are they playing against? I mean, I don't know how many.
There's about, what, 10?
Yeah.
12 teams?
Okay, and we got what, 2? Got 7 over here.
7 school districts, so there's
Right.
there's like 12 teams that, you can talk more about.
Yeah, so there are teams all through Section 3. I do believe there's 20 24 hockey teams in Section 3. Like Ontario Bay is a Mexico Class A APW, that's a combined team. Mohawk Valley is a teams from the Utica area combined for a team. So I believe there's 4 or 5 schools. There's they call it Watertown IEC, but that includes Indian River, Watertown IEC, Carthage. So there's a lot of schools that are combining for hockey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I hope it's helpful. I know that there's been a lot
No,
of questions.
I know,
So-
yeah, I know.
Yep, so please reach out to us. Any questions, after you mull it over, talk, when you're talking, and we'll go from there. And the final item, because it's a question I always get this time of year, what's the schedule for the final week of school?
Been here for the left.
So it looks like right now we're leaning toward early release on Monday the 24th and early release the 25th. Those are our pre-K 8 kids. Obviously the high school already be in Regents swing. At that point in time, they start on the 14th with Regents exam. So we'll be releasing that probably next week to get that out there. We always just kind of watch to make sure we're not missing hours. Well, that's out there. It's out there now.
So the 25th would be the last day.
Yeah, and then the staff is just in on the 26th. We always save a superintendent's conference day, so we're able to do that, where some districts have kids on that day. We have a super day that I keep in reserve, and we use that on that. That is Wednesday. So it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's just an odd, it's one of those years that's just, we match up the Regents Week. The other piece that's in your folder, and I want to change, is I heard earlier today, was it Ms. Geithner who told me, the graduation walks are being moved, I believe, to the 13th.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know
yet,
for sure.
But it will most likely not be on the 11th.
Right, there are city
Okay.
graduations, CTE graduations on the 11th. And so we have a lot of kids that are in the CTE programs that are going to be getting their moving up ceremony up at City BOCES during the day. So we can't do a graduation walk necessarily on the day when all the kids are going to be up at City where they should be.
So
for
maybe
the
the
CTE.
13th.
So there may be an adjustment, so just make note if you put that in your schedule, I'll give you an update with that. Definitely going to be a
time.
graduation walk, it's just a question of which day.
Okay.
Same time.
Same time, thank you.
And that's the conclusion, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the board. This has been was our most challenging budget we've had in a long time, and I appreciate your support and your input. It was not an easy one, and we're going to be facing other challenges in the future, so thank you for all of your work on this current budget that we're going to go into, and looking forward to getting started on the next one a whole lot earlier, because we're going to be having to look forward and really keep an eye on things as we go through next year. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to move on to 4.01, accept the election results, sorry.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Action 5.01, approve the financials.
Move it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Action 5.02, dispose of surplus property.
Move it. Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Action 5.03, approve specialty building school year of 2024-2025, the specialty bid for the school year of 2024-25.
Move it.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. 5.04, approve cooperative purchasing 2024-2025. Somebody move it?
Move it. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Action 5.05, approve food and cafeteria supplies for the 2024-2025 school year.
Move it. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Action 6.01, approve committee on special education.
Move it. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. I'd like to ask my colleagues to please batch actions 7.01 to 7.05 personnel.
Move it. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 500. Board Forum, Mrs. Papalardo.
Thanks, Chris, for everything. I know where to find you. I volunteered at Colony this last week for their Earth Day celebration, which was quite impressive with all the people that came in and stuff. I don't know if any of the other elementary schools do that or if it's just the PTG that helps put that on or whatever, but it was pretty cool. So I just wanted to thank our community members for coming out and supporting that. And that's a thank you to everyone who came out and voted, for sure.
Mr. Crandall.
Thank everyone who voted. Congratulations to
Congratulations.
Lori Crowell and Jen Mainville for Jennifer being reelected, and that's it. And Mr. Rose.
Mr. Connors.
Congratulations to everyone. Thank you for everyone who got out to vote. And I'd just like to say, I like hearing the positive stuff. I've been hearing a lot of things, whether it be sports, activities, community service. You know, it's good to have good news going on. It means we're doing something right over here. And so I'd like to keep that up and continue that, you know, into the fall and next year. And as you said, Mr. Palvino, we'll get started on that budget now because it'll be here before we know it.
Exactly. Mr. DeJalorme.
Congratulations to Lori Crowell and Jen Mainville on their election. Welcome aboard. You're going to love it. Nice presentation on Carlton Bennett. It's nice to know that out of all those people, there were 4 and Fulton had one of them. Chris, thank you for your update on the hockey. I guess that's it.
Well, I'd like to ditto on everything that my colleague said. Thank you so much to the community who came out to vote yesterday. We really appreciate your support. And I'd also like to put in that plug again for the Booster Burn, which is coming up on June 9th. If you haven't signed up already, you can go to our website and that link will be on there. It would be great for coaches and teams to get out there. I have to throw out someone every week or every meeting. So Mr. DeJalorme, you want to join me in the 5K run? You can beat me or I can beat you. We'll see each other at the finish line. Just thinking of it every week. I already asked you, Mr. Capani, I know you're going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bring the kids.
And Brenda, I know we always forget some people, but I want to thank the people that worked the polling yesterday.
Yes.
It wouldn't be possible without you. You know, there's so many parts that go into making, you know, the election successful, and that's a big part, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Connors. Thank you. All right.
Actually, Matt, we gotta call out Miss Perry. Miss Perry has really, she runs that election. I just stay out of her way. And it starts months in advance, and she does a really stellar job managing the site. So thank you and all your
Mrs.
team.
Peterson is my right arm to my left arm. So I don't know what I would do without her and our polling people. They're great.
Well, thank you for keeping all these guys in line, Mrs. Perry.
Yes.
And working so well with our polling people. You guys do a great job. Definitely.
And when you get the 5K run down to a 5 feet run, I'll join you.
You can do the 5 feet run if you would like to. Just sign up for the full 5K though, okay? All right, we got you, Mr. Crandall. All right. Turning on the bridge. I believe we're going into executive session.
Didn't want to put the wrong date.
Except for I don't know where I am because, where am I? There we go. All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Perry, for keeping me in line. All right. Page right here. Executive session. Can I have somebody move that?
Move it.
And second? Anybody? I guess Brenda will, I've never done that before as the president. I'm going to second that executive session. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? You're all coming to executive session. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you'd like to wait for us, you can, but go out and enjoy this wonderful evening.
Nick, we'll keep track of the time.
Be keeping track of the time. Okay. All right, welcome back. We are going to move to action 9.01, our adjournment.
Move it.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Passes 5-0-0. Thank you for joining us this evening. Go out and have a wonderful night.
Thank you.